for me. Give the Lord a bigger one. This is only the doing of the Lord.
For your home aqua beam. As some cases soon today is a Thursday. I know you are already boiling for our side of the boiling point. Ghana ewo amamre bi e say we amanyoku na ye fawo say umedi Ghana so umpanimfo nyinara fiti omampani ekukusi obi oye government appointee biara no. Eye wajapade de ube krucheni nyina won krata so e de akwakoto eye attorney general anim no no akora no no kokokora eye contract ye da wo any attorney general ntempe eno na ye frɛ no the asset declaration regime of the government of Ghana. This morning we are discussing a very important and I believe to many a thorny issue, and the question we are asking is that does the current asset declaration regime of this country fuel corruption in any shape or form? Yebedi nkomo na unim say about Thursday dia ye won panifu akukudam a wo mu dosuko ewo nimudie ewo ensemo ya ye di tudwa, and the number one always on our Thursday is our father, your father. Some people will call him their grandfather, but to us whom he had mentored into the whole area of lecturing, we call him _𝗟𝗓𝗡 nyinara mu _𝗟𝗓𝗡. The Professor Emeritus himself, the Most Reverend Professor Emmanuel Asante. Papa, Quarcoo, morning.
Thank you so many.
Papa, nempomu te saying, Mama, what te saying?
Radia Daruma, you are sorry, yeah. You think of me there, asida near the Radi.
Yeah, the radiasi, the radiasi. Inti, if you papa so dia na papa ewo nananumbi. Anana phone you ever shall see if Shandov so. So we have here our brother Quarcoo Shandov, who is a journalist and now a member of this very great team, the WTV team. Shandov, you're welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, we also have another team member, and then Shandov for catcher say people know him. Once you've been lecturing, and the man has been lecturing for some time.
Okay.
Peter Wonders, he lectures with the AUCC. Peter, how many years have you been lecturing?
For the past 6 years.
6 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
The more on the payment yanje say me na mete directly opposite you. What you about me?
How can you say introduction?
Opa say na adie bi na wo say yen.
Sir.
Ko la boni bia na person so yen. But anope o say papa why papa?
I'm telling you.
I said me nim say a politician say I don't know. Was I say 16 years old boy be.
Sure.
O kasa hwe na nim say na nim say no a. Me nim adie papa DSM pa na wo di ne sa no.
Empire work.
Anope sa wo tell papa so ko but ye the prayer kidnap papa say Messi.
Professor Santi never grows old.
And the shirt in particular, I mean, the shirt is very...
Yeah. So it could be because of the shirt.
I am man of fashion. na abribia se ye behia my di na se menkasa na say atade o no be fa no bo say papa no nani afidie but on person benyini kola tade ne ayifa si bia na papa me kanu
papa onana no wanya wa no pay yo. Thank you. It's always exciting to have our father on the line to join his grandchildren in this discussion. Papa, we want to start from you. We are looking at the asset declaration regime of this country. Meaning, what kind of what is the whole idea of the asset declaration? Said the one Ghana.
Well, said we share the national now church mono. Sir, asset declaration in your mind she be a to her. They are two said the bay be see ketase share any prayer. Ano nkan company for my day to me kesi show monsa say obi ba be o my adwuma kesi ko parliament or minister penifo dibidi for akese ye pese wagya pade a wo dada ansa na wo ba anase enye agya pade a wo nko we ka liabilities e ka ho e ka bia wodi eda ho a wo tua na wodi akwa komato ne general ne ma no basa de se wa hwe a yɛda tinsɛm bebree sɛ obi ansa na ɔba bɛyɛ ɔmampani bi anaasɛ ɔba bɛnya minister bi ɔba bɛyɛ parliamentarian bi anaasɛ yi bi no na saa nipa no ɔni hwee ne aburɔfo ka sɛ bɛka sɛ that person might have been a man of straw or even a woman of straw, if I may use that expression. Afei ni nanu ni nansa wobɛhwɛ na buildings bi apie baabi yɛ sɛ ne dia wobɛhwɛ petrol filling stations bi apie baabi ne yɛti no huhuhu yɛsɛ ne dia tankers bi yɛsɛ ne dia wohwɛ akatua so a yɛde ma no within that space a wɔde ayɛ saa deɛ ɛnya deɛ a na katua no wobɛtumi de ayɛ na kyerɛ sɛ nneɛma bi kɔ so a ɛsɛ sɛ nka aban ahwehwɛ mu na ɛhu sɛ woba no nea wode baayɛ nie na yɛdɛ na ɛni nanu ni nansa wakatua nyinaa yɛka bom koraa wodan wei a wayɛ sɛ value a ɛso kyɛ wakatua a wagye so fa ɛyɛdɛ na wonya biribi saa the whole idea ne sɛ de si keta no hyɛ ɛne porɔyɛ kankan nsisie kronobɔ nketenkete a yɛbɔ aban mu ne nneɛma aban sika a yɛfa de yɛ saa nneɛma no ɛna saa nhyehyɛ no wɔ sɛ bɛsi ano na kyerɛ sɛ nka pɛpɛpɛ yɛ ne nokoredie aba yɛ dwumadie mu ɛkɔ so sɛ yɛ discuss a nneɛma mma saa adeɛ no ɛnyɛ yie ne adeɛ no yɛbɛka ho asɛm na deɛ mɛka ni botaeɛ wɔyɛ adwene mu ne sɛ yɛmpɛ kɛta asehyɛ yɛmpɛ porɔyɛ yɛmpɛ so wɔn bɛba bɛdi so bɛwia yɛ sika na wɔn de bɛyɛ biribi anaasɛ wɔde ka bi kakraka bi ni bɛyɛ wɔtua saa ka no koraa afei huhu ne yɛyɛ ne nyinaa no ɛna saa adeɛ no wɔ hɔ sɛ ɛnka yɛbɛtumi de ahwehwɛ de ɛhu saa ayɛ ne yɛde asi kɛta asehyɛ ne porɔyɛ no ano kwan
yɛda sɛ Peter
yɛmɛka seesei no
yo papa yɛda sɛ Peter yɛmmra hɔ akɔyɛ me sɛ anka Ghana ha deɛ yɛnim adeɛ a ɛsɛ yɛyɔ na number one yɛnya nkɔsoɔ yɛde si kɛtaasehyɛ prɔyɛ kankan dwirim yɛnim yɛtumi tintim egu krataa so na paa sɛ yɛde bɛyɛ dwuma deɛ I mean, so what your own understanding of this whole asset declaration regime, and to you, is it working at all?
Yo, me da se pa ne akwanya kase a ode ama me anopai na se ye hwe sa asset declaration ya o kan wasem ya 1969 ana edikan eba ye sa mbre ne adwene se omampan dada osajefo Dr. 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 ene edom na ne omoye adwuma no a ekwan mo fa so etena ye ebo bra o ye hu sa oba wo chetere ba ko ebe na akwa miensa mienu sa bia no etu na ban gu ye ende wo se sa yetumi ede embra bi to ne ye de hwehwe se obi oba adwuma aban adwuma bia na so obedi edom ani mu bia no yetumi hunu enema owo ansana obedi yen so na me say eno achi 79 na mo san 18 team so na 1992 na mo sa shemu kena kese pa
enti na chese nye eyi fourth republic imu kra se na bebre ye o ma dwene se nansia na eba fourth republic e sha se ache nkromata right after the overthrow of Nkrumah, yes.
NLC na de saade
National Liberation
Council omo na mo de saade na ba ye mo de ba ye no kra mo de be hwehwe Kwame Nkrumah enimemu ene won a mo di aman so ene ma sa mbra ne ba se wo be di ana wo be ye aban adwuma biara e wo se wo miehunu e ka wo de ansa na wo ba ene nia wo ajapade a wo ansa na wo ba se nia enko ba se sabio wo de onsa ba wetintim enimemu na mo meka se sa mbra no e ansa papa. But unfortunately, no, yen yadi ashe yensa. Se ba hwe so. Ana meka say yen ye adwuma yiye. Na empem bebre no, auditor general no anka yeda ti wo say se nipa no ebedi edom no animu within 3 months. I also declare every 2 years. I also declare no.
Or declare it privately and now or declare it publicly. The extent of declaration and as you say,
I no auditor general hold here. You to be in private. I was here getting team and crataso. I did that and crataso ya by Japadi a document there. I force to see a crown a press your mouth when you say, what to be a baby by you, I could be information. So I don't think, sir, a idea because a private. I saw that home will be who said, or see my sea airban, now on Kobu Mienu, or Car Mienu, and tries a Mienu, and fear Mienu, when or the Abacahon. Okay, you're really sick as same who said, Sika and Chiaono, I saw what me as I Japadiano, that's a wound to me. Near who said, Ampa, I saw, who yeah, and as I will come on, I said, I wouldn't know where dear and a dear swana. And I make chances, and Marana ye, name Momono, and Manoso, and yet I be at the corner eba. Name of 1 year the mercy was said. Yanke, ma embrano ye jumano, and no moon yuma juma ye. Okay, but you ever said, Sabio, million sound of a team in Chay. Now, my father said, Auditor General. Yemi, your grandmother. Yeah, I'll mean for your illustration. Yeah, 7 million coffee, and I'll CB. Yeah. Now, my father said, Auditor General. Would you say me and my father would you move? Oba to me ama embra asome pana
na se nea waba ban mu no enyan ono na wo fa wo ya no se wo mra no mehwe ho ni wo kan attorney general say auditor general sorry auditor general the aban na be appoint no na wo mo ye adwuma wo na ye wo director for wo mo ye mo kwakoye investigation ni nyina wo so mo so enya aban na appoint
so me no ti krom ha na yate say aban bi aba also see must proceed on leave and entibi no the no one nipa ayede akose ho wo nipa no a ya hwe onim apa adwuma say kona kwot pone bi die no aso baba yi beto what beto enu ntina I was here the emre bi to was say appointment bi etumi ebo ye ho ban every kitasani kroye kankan ho no enkodi amanyofo nsa enye dey say you rise from baby me ye adwuma wo no edrum so me ye die me kodie anase mo qualification no mananti mu a wo auditor general ho no mo na adum so me so me ko ye die e dey sa to me na mama and dey sabio enye aban bie na fa me adwuma na me ye no and dey me ko do sa pampan so no e say me ye adwuma no a me nsuro say me ye die me ye adwuma me di no kra e kwan bi so because amman ye timu hwe ma me nka no kra nkyerɛ asa go here again minim MPB a obedi ade won krankrum me mmo kondin na sa ko no konwa etumi dane at any time say na me ka mokwa ya no mokwa ba enti emre obedi MP na onim say also declare asset no obedi ya nsa no oye filling station na say enka ne asset no ho enti e was say ono ani nua to tworo mutwo edi to filling station no so bra emra kunya da ne mokwa ya no mokwa ba ya to atie no and the oba fie aba fa the filling station na nka odi adanga no ngakra oni oba nua say hene ha
o ye de mame
o say the filling station bay o say ma je ma de mo wa de bay o say ma de no wa de bay the filling station no o say de enya wo de ya o say you wo de say na kwa twi documents bay o de bay you de na so ne nua to twa butwa no a different say am o de arho na nti ya de ko wuom.
And so this is a true story. But you fancy or not, you be samba, you be baba be share what, in your opinion, this asset declaration has done to us. We'll come back to that story. But Shando, it appears that we as a nation have all that it takes to enact, to promulgate. But when it comes to implementation, now, what is your own understanding of this whole asset declaration, and how do you think it can be implemented well?
I've had the time to. I've not read the act vigorously, but it's Act 550. I've not read it thoroughly, but from the little that I have skimmed through, I don't think it is a very useful piece of legislation at all, because ordinarily, when it comes to the construction of law, it is presumed that a good law must be capable of being enforced. If you want a law to bite, and if you want a law to serve a purpose, that law must be properly enforceable in the very first place. What we have now...
The law cannot enforce itself. No, it takes an enforcer to enforce the law. And that's where Peter
exactly,
is coming.
but I mean, there should be provisions that should accommodate for deviations. Okay, if you are making a law, you do not just say, for example, that nobody should step in this room and then you leave it there. There should be an accompanying punitive measure that is attached to anybody who flouts that particular provision. Effectively, what I'm saying is that the law must be able to bite. If the law does not bite, at the end of the day, we are not going to achieve any results.
So which part of this law is not biting?
Exactly. When you look at this whole, Act 550, when you study it carefully, let me just read a portion, Section 1, Clause 1. It says that a person who holds a public office mentioned in Section 3 of this Act shall submit to the Auditor General a written declaration of all properties or assets owed by him. Look at it, owed by him. That is the A. The B, all liabilities owed by him, whether directly or indirectly. Okay. So when it comes to your debt obligations and your liabilities, you declare it whether you owe it directly or indirectly. But when it comes to your assets, it's just about you. Those ones that are affiliated to other people that indirectly, that one, the law does not mandate that you declare it. And that is exactly where the loophole is. Okay. The loophole is present there in the sense that, so if I come into office and I still as much, because the law even initially did not require me to disclose assets that I have pumped into other areas, linkages, then I can of course carry those properties and then, put them, into those obscure links. And that is opacity. Opacity breeds corruption. There must be a lot of transparency in what you do. So if you ask me at the beginning of any tenure, declare what you have and what you owe. But when it comes to what you owe, you're actually telling me that I should even declare all indirect debts. But after my tenure, I am not mandated to declare indirect access and all of that. You have created a special purpose vehicle for me to steal, actually. Then there is also a part of in Section 5, that one is even more, I find it to be very unfortunate. It says that any property or assets required under Section 1 of this Act to be declared acquired by a public officer after the initial declaration, and which is not reasonably attributable to income, gifts, loan, inheritance, or any other reasonable source, shall be regarded as acquired illegally. That one too is flawed. Okay, because look, we are limiting it to income, gifts, loan, and inheritance. It is weak. The way thievery has become in this country, it is very sophisticated.
No, so let's count them. Let's count them. So number one, when you mentioned some variables. So
income.
So income will come from your direct source.
So if you are employed as a public officer, how much you are paid, basically.
Well. That is untouchable because it's going through the accountant. Yes,
Number two, gift. Okay, so you must be able to indicate clearly that, this was a gift. Then there is also the component of loan, and then there's also the component of inheritance. Good, but I am saying that if you look at the narratives of corruption and embezzlement, the avenues transcend these parameters that we have set.
For example?
They may even include, even honorariums are part, okay? The
allowances.
You see, I can, off the top of my head, I may not be able to, but from stories that we have heard, if you restrict it to just income, you restrict it to gifts. I mean, even per diems. Okay, we've been in this country and we've seen per diems which are really, really outrageous. So if you limit it to only income, gifts, loan, and inheritance, the disservice you are doing is that. So what happens to all other, avenues? And then let's even look at the gift aspect. That one too is a tad too broad. Okay, what are the specific parameters where gifts are concerned? Okay, I mean,
do you think gifts must be defined in a law?
It must be defined in a, because look, we have said that where bribery is concerned, where corruption is concerned, it's basically gifts that breed bribery and corruption. I mean, gifts to either induce or to appreciate for a later gesture. So it must be properly defined. If you don't define gifts and you make it very generalized, I mean, so somebody can be a public office holder, and then if the person receives, let's say, I would have mentioned a Ford, but it would have appeared, too direct or whatever. But if you're a public office,
Daddy.
I didn't say anything. I'm saying I would have mentioned a particular brand of vehicle, but I'll skip it. I'll skip that one. If you are a public office holder and then somebody comes to you and somebody comes to give you, let's say, $5 million as a gift. It's a gift, all right, but you see, we must be able to, I mean, shouldn't we think through the reasonability of the gift itself? Because if we say that if people receive gifts, then of course they are incorruptible because it's a gift. It is. I don't know if you get the point I'm making.
Yeah,
it's too open. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we must the terms of the gifts, even the basis of the gifts, must be clearly defined. Are you receiving the gift in exchange for a favor? Are you receiving, because look, when
the gift is a gift, whether I'm receiving you for a favor,
but
or
it could be a calculated inducement. Let's assume, for example, that you are the Chief Justice, and then you are sitting on a matter, a very thorny issue that you have to pass.
And somebody brings me up.
I mean, while you're supposed to adjudicate the matter, okay, we are looking at fighting corruption, or somebody comes to give you $20 million. So when you are done with serving as Chief Justice, in declaring your assets, you may now indicate that in your account there's $20 million. The law here, as understood, is saying effectively that if you go and tell the Auditor General that $20 million was given through a gift, you are not corrupt. So what was what triggered and motivated the gift in the very first place? It's problematic. We must define the gift. The gift must not be tied to the lawful execution of your task. That is what I think we must do. If you make it a generalized arena of gifts, people will be receiving gifts all the time.
So you mean that I have done something which legitimately is the reason for which I am employed. That's
corruption. You see, you've created an avenue. People will keep on receiving gifts day in, day out. Everybody receiving gifts in this country because the law creates.
I don't think the Auditor General he determines. Say idea nipa di baye e kwan best on the baye enti kind of argument bia I've been saying say we should take it from somewhere embra de yeshem embra it's fluid and yes
but the parameters for gifts have not been
let come from the angle now I'll say embra to be enka is any potential say buy so I disagree with him.
So Peter, a law being enacted is different from its implementation and obviously different from its interpretation depending on the sector that you are dealing with. But let me go to Prof. You gotta continue to gather your thoughts on this one. Prof, we have an issue at hand. So are we also agreeing so pennies so for point to say asset declaration regime ya can one semi edekata se she abapa isan say emranu be no hwan egu fom ne ba bi nyina yie esa ne se o ka se achede a ene achede.
Well, the way our question over frame on educate as a share about no. The Diana Kasam for Ketas share ember, it was intended say a secret no. But the question is a bisan say etinia your sadian.
Okay.
Yes, but etinia your ana. me magwem say intimi si keta no hye ase na nina ne ensem a me nuanom Shandoff ne ayinmo kano. You see, yet your mamma, we have an extended family system. Say obi peso of or yet bibia obitumi ade akwa koma na busuafo bi edin bi papa wo fase na nanua bi kura betumi akwa kokun sa nipa no na de out the nedin ahyehyehye. So the extended family system, we need to look at it carefully. How send is bem ewo anime and instrument institutions ben e wo ho betumi investigate this anime thoroughly, because all of a sudden minimum be of baba minister, all of a sudden in now for be an only one these were men of straw, all of a sudden almost baba the fool. But I knew Sena, one of them, say he was holding the property for Sapapad.
Okay.
Pano Bano, any other. But Emrabiasu knew a bit me a stop was and TSC a share Emrano Ayayemu, ye tosu me, you know, Pesamekane, and the modi Omaka, neutrality no an air capital assembly. Menana. Lecturer any Adzika cancer assembly. Ubi ba so ani yi enipa ani yi. Well, tenor anwa yedi say for bi so onko auditors general and I say honest or Quarcoo eneguma. It must have no reference to any connection with political party and I said yeah. Of course, I mean there's no individual be neutral, but neguma no is there as a profession. Yes, sir. The person owes anything to anybody, so no appointing, because the person must know say or because of a non qualification, the profession and or the agreement. That you know in the whole case, into me and yen say yeah no. And now near a two so na channel for work for the first time.
Coming back for the first time now, Papa.
For the first time, we're talking about gift. Gift immediate. We have not defined it. Because in some other jurisdictions, when we talk about gift, they will look into the motivation, the quantum. We will raise suspicion. They will have to look into the motivation. What motivated that gift? And so many other things. But you see, to be able to do that, you must have an institution in place a bit at this agreement. I dream at me who says, they will say, no, you can say the motivations are, and Tiamas are there, no, Abeba, near there. Will be any the gift to come up and or come up and direct, or the come up and in and as a baby and as a we need to have mechanisms a bit me. I said, see a bit me to a see a because even in the United States, when some ways you see Trump where he is a multi follow year, who say a quite fast with the BT system. But at least you bet me put two near be in place here. A bit me stop us. See a bet you see a pass here in Nipa near TV. It's a radical Nipano. Akoma no so nyame pa ye no betima ye bibia tisa more of an say make no ha no extended family system no so tete ye pa what you say yeah wo ba TV so ba okrofo dwen say ni ta ba TV so bia
you hwegu me so
the moment you become exposed to the public, you become a public figure and people think say you are rich, will be the BB mouth. Until Obushi and Fonos demand on you know, so Nina Kamubi, Madame for parliamentarian be the say, oh, Jai, Uncle Parliament, other year. Also, meaning the Biano, as all constituency in most cases, or quite a year or to the Bia one constituency, Nipa who on basic. No party chairman or constituency chairman afano. Or didn't quite ye ni nase. Or local bonds are base 50 cities we raise your joy parliamentarian or by some 50. Colacra 100. And every be honest so called ye no I use some cobo bonium because market just one me just no. In news are so and systems and uncassa way and why and sir. asset declaration some no ye ka ho asem na see e be dia as see san hwem mahu say honorable Yasafo Manfo can say in him view, but I don't know what he meant.
Yeah,
you know that we need to look at it carefully and study so many other things and tighten it. See, ain't me say free or cross at least a bit me tighten corners beer. I'm a man to lose. And far corruption might, but in see corruption.
Okay, all right. So we will answer that question in conclusion. I mean, whether or not asset declaration regime, no, the corruption aba, and now say timesi no, and what should be the ramification. But a kawan is out there na me ato mi senya moko ga da kana molo TV jikomala. Peter asre is as what yes na me catch papa kase say wa ba TV so ebusu beti me ka wo me ameka say mo say ye ma me sike bie o ye TV so a na me oni nyina better this adwumati former view me ponwe and yes ebusu say so for Adzika ba TV so na ne ba
and then we is a problem yeah measures they are expecting from ordinary people. Yes, are they expecting
from Peter, you wanted to say something.
And now it's say, and yes, the Armenia shand of economy wego. But me tafel say a bring no. Say yes, I share emra. Na emrano into me and yet dear ever say a ye. And now you want to say emrano mu emria. Ya mentam fama dwene emfama sa nsemo etesa me madwene se anka ye mfamfiri baabi enko baabi se emra no mpo emu amre na entimi ni dwuma entimi yi sa akro nsem ni mfiri ho no na at least ye hunu se nipa na de mra na sha nsem se onfa nya adwuma no wa hya ase e de ye adwuma adum pampanzuo bi ni ye hunu se okay what the adwuma dum sam pampanzuo yi na emu amre enti ye sanko yes, uncle Danani, yes, uncle Binyam, na enshakena, na some near person say do nenko do. A clear example, ye Ura Martin Amidu. Embria, ye des special prosecutor the money. Obong bakope, wanga, Sikabia Codium, Hono. Obia Semetria, Obia source of a co jail. Until also Obia Semetria. And to me, some fellow say, Nipano, I desire 2 million washan and sano. Omi hunu se ampa oyade oye adwuma obomba kopa se mempo ene ade oman tu mi bia hye mensa ana me koda oman bi bia no a me hunu se kofi ekoye no emra no so ne pa ama so koye no eso ne pa enti me so me ke me ahwe yie na me hu ama asem na mo se ka se ye tenase o emra no mu emra yentumi entu anamu enkozi pempenso biara enti nipa biara ene awote ye ne ede mrasha wonsa se wo na hwe ma won a ye de oman tumi ene oman japade enhye obonsa se omuntu anamu bi no hyiase ma embra no mfie se eka om embra no ka om yenso edi etira ye ba no ye besuro ama ye ne a etene hwe enanu yi a ye mami ayi no wakoba asem a maslok asem yi a ote USC ma ti se ye de ama Interpol say Interpol to me the pa Ghana ha no bia bedu kotoka camera si so na mahunu say ampa Ghana police Interpol atunya ko fana ba we say me so mimpo e da djuma mensa e sha mensa na me ko say no na me dwane a e kwan de amabae no sa kwan na de efia so ba de baba mesuro etimi ya ma hwe yiye e na me ka no etiya let's start from somewhere e de fi baby e de ekodu baby ntemu amre kura no a nipa bia auditor general no onu ehu na djuma oye oman sika de tuo de ka na so tumi ti ba ko mienu miensa to mu a ana se tumi de mra no ye adwuma se ne mra no se a obi e besuro bente sa pa dia forget it and the corner de
very much well. I'll come to Shandov, but Emrebia ewana huodene ene ne mreyo. So every law has a strength and its weakness. The IEA did something very, very, very scientific and instructive for all Ghanaians in one of their programs fighting corruption in the public sector of Ghana. The IEA of Ghana, decided to investigate into the potency and otherwise the weakness of the asset declaration regime, and they have come out with the strength and weakness. Today we are trying to see whether the strength outweighs the weakness or otherwise, but let me just read two of the strength, then we can go into the weaknesses and interrogate it for the latter part of our discussion. Number one, I'll say a well-defined asset declaration regime serves to prevent, detect, investigate, and prosecute corruption and abuse of power and its transformation into unexplained wealth. It can therefore be a tool for uncovering bribery, other forms of corruption such as nepotism, conflict of interest, and undue advantage. Number two, published information on a person's asset allows civil society to hold leaders to account. And maybe for the last, number three, if leaders are seen to live beyond their means, an asset declaration can be a starting point for investigation. So these are the three points that IEA began with in terms of the potency of what it is in terms of the asset declaration. But let's go to the weaknesses, which to some people far outweighs its strength. Now we'll read some of them, and Shandov, you get ready to hit on this. Now, even though, and these are the weaknesses, even though an asset declaration regime has great potential for fighting the abuse of power and corruption by public office holders, its impact can be limited by shortcomings of the regulatory framework. All right, producer, you can go, hit on. All right, so these are the weaknesses which we have summarized. We are saying that there is a problem with verification, public disclosure, and accessibility. Now making kind amount. Now there is also the frequency of filing, the method and declaration process, the mode of how this whole thing is declared, coverage as well. What is the extent to which what you are declaring covers what you claim you have? So it is content of declaration, sanctions for breach.
Sanctions for breach. Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Lack of political will and commitment by the government and parliament. Yashamra there, they see this so said the enuanum enyina prof so it can be. All right, so this is the summarized version of what I was reading to you in terms of the weakness of it. Yenka semrani ye na ye shemra bia said ye sofopon kan said be ya be dwira ye ho na ye gina said be ya ye mu yanka sa ye mra so na emom se akonwa na esi wo no fidie ni no ba bie hwan na ni ba bie hodwo a entimi nyina yie ya na duru ba bie hu ntuetua ho no ebetimi kra ama mrani nyina se. Shandov, you want to take up any of the weaknesses?
Yes, I think I had earlier articulated those same concerns. For example, the absence of clear sanctions for breach. That was the initial point that I made, that if there is a law, we must know the definite punitive measure that would be exercised. I mean, when someone, flouts that regulation. If you look through the act, you don't really see any definite sanction, so to speak. But again, I want to return to the earlier point that at the initial point of declaration, when you are disclosing your liabilities, you may disclose the ones that are even linked to you. But when you are enumerating your assets, the other ones that are linked, you don't name them. I'm saying that is. So I'm compelled to say it's not a useful law. I'm saying because at the end of the day, if I have 500 houses and I am coming into public office, I can name just one. The remaining 499, I would not disclose them. So if I use those remaining 499 to engage in corruptful practices that would, even enrich me at the point of exiting, what have I declared effectively? Okay, so it needs a very serious revision. And Osofo was making a point about the aspect of gift. It's true. It's very open, but we can tighten it. How do we do it? There should not be we can reframe the law in such a way that no gift should be received within the context of work. That one is
that not difficult? Because Osofo has just mentioned
it's
the nuclear family system where an offer, a certain Mblako comes to your court and gives you already a let's say you join me family upon Jimmy. Me was so nana samu unya edi ade abra. Na aga say one year.
Last week, your culture no,
Mm-hmm.
and Casano, a promote a friends and
Corruption.
Last week,
okay. Miss Meg, money enough, yeah, you are drinking
I'm saying that one is very clear. If we are using a court judge, you are sitting on a case, your posture is supposed to be, strictly complying, fidelity to the law and the facts of the matter. You are not expected to receive anything while sitting on the case, whether from family, church members. It's very, very simple. Draw the lines in the sense that while you are executing, let's even move away from the courts. We can create a case study here. Let's mention any public office holder and look at the jobs they do while they are in the immediate execution of their task. Don't take anything. It's very, very simple. Don't take anything that is even remotely or loosely connected. Even if we stretch it, it must not catch you. So, for example, let's say that you are, even a medical doctor. Okay, you're a medical doctor working in a public facility. Whatever gifts you are supposed whatever gift you are supposed to receive must not be linked in any way to the execution of your roles. It's very simple. But if we don't do it that way, but if you do it even for the Osofos, then that one you will catch them all the time because their roles, of course, is to serve humanity, preach, dispense the word of God and all of that. And for that, people would always come and appreciate you. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you for your prayers. And all those are gifts.
So what is wrong is saying, Judge, thank you for your prayers, because the judges also pray.
So you want to go and appreciate a judge for the possibility of creating a rapport that can weaken his resolve, because sometimes the gifts do not have immediate effect. Sometimes, and most of the times, they do not have an immediate effect. So if you were a judge and then you have finished passing a judgment, and maybe you've passed a judgment in my case, I've now won a case worth $100 million, and I come and say that, look, thank you for this case, take 10,000 or whatever. We should not forget that the aggrieved party may file an appeal. The case may be opened again, and there's also the possibility that another case may be related to me or someone else, all right, that I may know. And for the fact that you've taken you see, the gifts are softeners. I always say that every gift is a softener. If I give you a gift today, I have, in a way, watered a certain ground for us to have a certain kind of conversation. So the next moment when I hear that, this judge is sitting on XYZ case, I can make it can be influenced badly. I know this guy here. Because I'm giving some time back, I gave him. You see, don't soften the grounds. Don't open the floodgates in any way for anybody to penetrate. That's why gifts must be totally ruled out. But in concluding, I think I've made the point fair enough. There's a point there's a point also made that I think is interesting. How that members of parliament, apart from their traditional legislative duties, now we are expecting philanthropic gestures from them. I think it's a very big issue. It's one of the things that we must also look at handling. Otherwise, corruption would not leave the system. Typically, a member of parliament is a lawmaker. But in our current dispensation, members of parliament have become community developers. So they are responsible for borehole projects, they are responsible for payment of school fees, they are responsible for attending to funeral bills and all of those things. If you look at how much MPs earned, the other day there was one member of parliament who was giving a breakdown of his earnings, how much is deducted and what he takes home. You realize that logically they do not have as much to even be dispensing, but we have imposed a lot of expectations.
So the question is, where do they get the money from?
It's one of those things. But then again, another school of thought will say that, well, is because when they are also campaigning, they articulate promises that are
promises,
outside of their
yeah.
jurisdiction.
Yeah.
If you are a lawmaker, you come and say that when I come, I'll make sure I build this school, I tar this road, I do XYZ, and you know definitely that it is outside of your immediate jurisdiction. Why do you have to whet people's appetite in the
now
very
let's
first
move on.
place?
Peter, I'll be back to ask you how you think our family system. Prof has hinted on something like that, but I want to ask Prof whether indeed it is as simple as Shandov paints the picture. A gift. And so for we are ministers. Somebody comes to give you a gift. You know that this gift is really from a certain opposition leader in the class meeting who, because he knows, will be on the floor of the class meeting and debate a certain point, has brought you 10 tubers of yam to the Osofo. Must I collect it? Should I not collect it? Is it not normal? Osofo, please.
Well, I think we need to, when we are discussing issues of this nature, we need to look at the ideal and also the reality.
Yeah.
I'm happy, sir, Minana Shandov is always aiming at the ideal, which is good, but it's not a reality.
Okay.
For example, let me take my case as also for. Bayere Bremen, I know a business, but I ain't out the Bayere no Bremen anything. How realistic is that?
Yeah.
And until they make us say, you can't avoid gift. Our own culture, in our culture, see, and company money, and fans are buying and company money. And in the church, to the people can yami and money moons are buying. We say this. It's become part of us. So there are certain aspects we are want to be here for free, but we can also do certain things as some aspects. Now, make us say, what is the motive? Chant for church say it must not be tied to Wedumanoa who yellow. For example, when him say be a judge, who case or court. Would they akuku nina kwa me sister so? Say my sister one yin kumwe one family me kwa. But do the command me sister no one. Indirectly, what me na what mommy gifted. Because then my sister is going to tell me how papa be a why me any idea. But it's also an aspect of influencing baby. Well, as I said, gifts in only a church remove the motivations. We cannot avoid gift. After all, me preach say adoye. Now how do we say adoye enye? But what is the motive? Our day adoye. But I am a decoy adoye and say adoye. A true adoye no carry some motive ni say me yen me de ajibibi every will be all. In fact, the people who is going to church no ko form here adoye no ne wo ma yinye bi mawo. It is the people who are poor, who have nothing. These are the people we need to take care of because they cannot reciprocate in any way. And the whole day, we need to look at it. Adebakoswa, my main fam na Shandov for nominate Minana no vampire mam here say the base. So
Obaba kono a lecture and your friend Peter or no ye Peter.
Peter.
Me am bidi oba munka na Shandov for the day ni ba do bia na Shandov. Na ye.
Say aka papa trim.
Peter. My grandfather did mum say. My declare me asset. You see, after every ABR period, BSC declare asset. Now my jumano, my declare, me see me nife. After 5 years, my no, me wa die bebre. We the way are Bremen, we the way are Bremen, we the way. At what point? And as I say, you stop investigating a person who has held public office. Because I know of a situation here. Obi a year and as a free niho. But later on, Sandy Panas yes if we niho because of the man Grofua, I feel that Grofo no de no after so many years.
Yeah.
And nothing here can say as a declaration at the a papa. It serves as deterrent for some people. Almost through obi ho a obeye enti ekwan bi so aboa kakra but ye hyemu kena so a ebetumi aboa ye more.
Yeah, that's it. Peter, afi yemra so na ye pay ye phone lines no. Enti now you have the microphone. Oh, adwen kire no prof upon ho kakra say the last 2 weeks crown na wo kan say ebusuasem ene your family system your tradition na mu na nkasa no. Ma corruption enyi more.
No kure. Sabio minua makofu moba banchi mienu Jacob ba minua kofi don fa fufuo ndi ma chekusie fa ne nan ko manana so na fa ye nkwan oh banya yakore de ne nkwahia no fa ko na hema na onfa nto na duani mu na onfa ntwi moko ne honko ne ba so yeah sure say mitumi da me yes adie we ya masam ko na hema nchen ya obeka tie me ana onka ntia me. Number 2 say mete aban mu ana me opposition bi na me free sa aban no mu mantumi amfa abushoni ba ko mpo anko hye adwuma no mu afa sa me adwuma ewo me mpesa mebo adwuma bi adin adwuma kase bi esika no eye aban adwuma na mantumi amfa abushoni bi anko hyem na me call retirement aso den na abusuafo beka kire me wofa ntumi ko hye we wantumi amfa ba ko fo mpo anhye police anhye soldier ana ne oba pension de one abeko musio so na me je no enji saa de we no emma ye corrupt ana me so da me wo hono ma me fo se me nua aso se meka makohye ba bi eye na ho eda
Me fa me nua nko ho
sound off. The first person me fa ko ni. Wow, me fa no so nka se me sound off ntimi nko ho. Obani me tie ko.
Enti na nepotism na ye ken.
Ana me ka no. Enti ye culture system no, ana culture no, emma saa ne men e de eba. So for some years back na nyame ye madoye ana me ye se me kotua tight. But me ka makuma mu se me kotua e o ma sorry. Me pe asori bi e mo struggle. Na me fa saa na mu odu kakra. Na me fa saa tight no emfa ngo. It's not me nenam say yes am shira kwa so be me na mo hwe nsori nketenkete no a omu ni drums ne saa na ma na mfa saa yi ne mom na omontumi anyisu na me kwa so dan bi mu na hu aso dan mu a say sabio abrewa anumu ene ma shira nyiko yie saa na me de be tight ko tum sew be tum so for say jira ho wo so ba unya skaro he oh unya skaro he o tu sa
Sai kapudu oyi
so for but me tight na me dey ba me nyago pon je me
na say
enti your culture I can see a culture no kwasem a high of mine a high of mine and na me nua kan yi say me wo adamfo ye prosini a me di bone na say o me cheme and so badu bo Peter me ba wo gina ha me chewo
pe ba bi gina
so me prosini a now so because chemi nua Shandoff ese me peki wo dwane na mo gina ho de ba me chewo me no ho no de okọ enti culture no so no e ma ye corrupt
yeah be phone lines is a prof bisa question bi a eno na ye ba me pese obi a be kire na dwane enti no me wa ban mu no ye hu se me ye corrupt as declaration so just brano no say me declare na ye investigation say me we 5 years 10 years obi a misa me hwe after 10 years you say hey say me obi o Dubai me obi o ha Singapore wom Volta region no gokpo kata tagbi ho nyina me obi o ho na ye be hwe ya na ni nyina ye media at what point in time will the law come back and still have all these assets confiscated if otherwise 0256253461 053850625 our phone lines are open and go na yede de bia na ye ka say do Thursdays I na yem renisha but whatever it is we want to hear from you and what your opinion is ye bisa enti Ghana fo ye bisa mo anope obi e be fa no aban mu say oye party A o so oye party B o e se ye hu na japade mu na japade so ye bisa say e kwa attorney general hopeni ade hyenkrata mu akata so ana ye ntimamu for voters a ye yusu ye kokrumuti ye so e se ye hu bi ana question ye bisa oni nti say ofa wo phone no na u bisa ya sem ana will contribute. I want you to respond to any of these issues. All right. Now, so Shandoff to you first and we'll come to Peter. After 5 years, after 10 years, after 20 years.
Yes, let me still turn my attention to the Act 550 section 1 C. okay, let's start from the 3. It says that it shall be the responsibility of the officers required to make the declaration under the Act to obtain the forms from the office of the Attorney General at the end of the term of his office, and shall in any event be submitted not later than 6 months of the occurrence of any of the events specified in the subsection. So it is after the end of your tenure, you are, as it were, wiped and cleaned. Okay, and after that period, really the arms of the law cannot stretch to reach you out, except there is reasonable evidence to, as it were, impugn you, to indicate that, okay, whatever assets you acquired, because for example, if I am in office and I make a $20 million investment and I'm going to reap the benefits in the next 5 years, if I am out of office, of course, you cannot, you know, come after me.
All right, let me pick this call quickly, and so you are coming from the perspective of the law. We will still come back to you, and Peter. Yeah, fireman, you're on.
Yeah, Bibi Boko. Access declaration no mesire e wo mre no mu se wo pese wo do man anima bi japade bia wo bia no febra but e ba ni sen e na yem biemu yenhwe nti to me ni de me wu se atomic general omo wa te na be ya corruption na be koso because obi be ba be transfer for years to e japade obeje no yeso woni ma de omo ye omo de omo ma in the data so, be no data so. And your taxpayers' money, where are no more yet? Into corruption, idiot to me, dear. And because so, a woman, into atomic general, so we may declare the assets. Mumbi, when I use oh, we were Japade 10, we were Japade 15, or better to know Japade 100. No better say, on any more, why you too much on to minto, protocol, so sini die. Into Messer Pass, a young man, Rano, and you do more fire.
Young New JT Jones, are you there? You're on there.
I am there.
All right, let's hear you. Yes, you, Joe.
So for correcting you.
Hey, I did show Joe.
The Dangamiasi. So for topic Amudia Bay, and Mr. Yando Kwanswa. Me had him at the school. Ever new JT. Now, me buy no. Me my so for whom said, me amini. Many car, many shade. Name mono. Maybe some of you must send me yellow drew baby. That's all for whom say, my top blog backward, a market him. My top blog will you know, after market him because also for name. Now at the end of the day, not so far we say, oh, my 2 world. Jones no yanni, oh, Papa send me catcher will say, a human and the market your message. Na me di bi aye ABCD ti enu na me bi ye ti me be woni say ye fa obi wo apan adwuma mu a e wo se nipa no ye mani declare ne jopade nyina ye mani declare adwuma no copy o man no so ye nyina ya nya kenkan wo daily ye daily graphic nim ti before nyina abondo rama yehu o wo car o dan wo komase wa mansoro bi wo so manya o we wa ha at the end of the day, Senipano every hokra, na say who say or living life or being corrected eyebrows. But when I queen, you're paying for the estimate near be a coming. At the end of the day, no, na or enjoy. I am on my same be a mitaka I saw them. So on we answer no. Then you know you praise the Lord. Now ya just so hallelujah. And so now you do morning.
Thank you.
In here with dear Sofo. Metre, asudi kese bi pa eda nyina yeso. Enti topic amudia.
Yeah, that's yanko fanko. Eja frempon. Ye mo achi mo akwa aba. Enka wo so ye tie o frempon.
My drink say it's a say as a declaration no it's a say e baso. Na asanya e wo ho ayeye no. Aka me imagine chen say it's a say Attorney General and keep document no.
Okay, Attorney General keep document no.
Na hello.
Me say Attorney General no keep document no.
Ono mo me keep document. Eno mo ye. Say e be ba bonti no obi e ho because where in senior mind, what your senior go for any sound for senior business for be a shame go for them. May I conform social share on written go for the young to say what points are a memo senka, almost your mujimedina. Nanka, almost Ayama upon my phone. Actually, Abua, now say, oh, obey mono, never bear like a family so far. Oma Buana had 20 general who say, oh, or buy why you have I do, nothing. Or also a 20 general who say, Nemanos are yellow bro. Nakatia, so enough for you. I sign investigation. But I'm about the trouble and Sana, if I'm not going to know age Monday, and they be.
All right. Thank you. All right. So, Shandoff, you were concluding on the matter.
Yes, I was making the point that because the duration doesn't extend beyond when you have left office, we would need incontrovertible evidence to now say that, look, come and sit down, and then let's interrogate how you came by XYZ. But there was a caller the first caller, he was making the point that we should even engage the media, for the property of, public office holders to be advertised and publicized and all of that. But again, the weakness is, if you look at the law, you're supposed to declare what you have, not what is connected to you. Mm-hmm. And I'm saying it will not make sense for anybody to, let me use the president for example. Everybody knows that traditionally, President 𝗟𝗡𝗏𝗏 has a house at Nima. Okay, that is what we know. But we may not know other landed property that may be connected to him.
Let's go to Kumasi.
What's the point?
Honorable, you're on air.
So for my channel,
citizen at the same of
Yango pardon, so for
right.
Yeah, good. So for we there, me say me small mind. And me say me ban me 1, 2, 3, 4 properties. So what stops me from making them known to the state? And after leaving office, and what also stops me from making the state know, say me buy office, maybe I'm there for 3 years. This is my salary that I was taking every month. This is what I have been able to acquire for myself. Last about 3-4 days ago, I was watching a program elsewhere. It is the accord, it is before you take in any government or public office. It's either you declare your assets or some months in office. It is a mandatory thing to declare your assets. I'm not even doing it. So I believe the state is failing somewhere, because a lot of the people occupying public offices need say they are on duty to declare their assets. So once they are failing to do so, the state must, make them do it. The state must force them to do it. So the declaration of assets is very good thing that we must do.
Okay.
So I was say states need to make sure. Yes,
Peter. Young call so na Yegusu dwendwen ho de sofopon ken after a number of years. Do we still come back and so accost you and say hey say na ebra no kure mu ye de ne sa
so hwe dia menua Shandoff akenkan ayi na atia na say emra no mu emre na kire say obi ewie medical ka say wo fa na de position bound 3 months I will assume office and I'll be declare every 2 years I'll be declare and Shandoff akenkan me who say after 6 months, all right. What I akonya to and as a position to after 6 months, and then so now I say I declare. Na just say emra no momre. Emra no mu pa. Na say my yejapade bi o baabi, mpem bebre no. Ye free position mu a efie num, efie nan, efie miensa echi ansana enkrofo efie say omote nia ye wo. Na me mpese me bo omampan bi adini. Me di mani kire dodo wa kwan mu ho. And I'm in hotel. No be chami on my paying beer. What better than Addy echo. Now, what's not a mind much? Name Nancy and who say na Saja Paddy si hono. Enedia. Me nim no query would be a chance or Simasi. No, I don't know. Made the nature ye fraumantem me say ko ho japade e say osimasi dia bo na me no be mu I take years ansa na eba to swam pa say e so onipa no dia 6 months ofiri akonya so no ye be de ehuro ntia me say omode emfie no omumiem na mo fa emfie ni bi yenka ho say investigation mi mpo na ebetumi aye afo bia ho a yenye na ejapade de omoyo yo na sabika fransa na mbrasam ni a evidence a woni nti wo kasa na we akwa no akra me ko fragmentum ensuona no ho mi mbokoro di so ensuona no ho no mba bi MPB we had the face ho a no bi sa won se o si mazi aso MPs for ina just Larry obi antumi nya sa de we na ho no me ya no kwa sa de we oh enemies ana ni atwa mi nso no mu ne se won amunya kisikakase ene won a omotan eben tumi ana okandifo no nipa na odi anim no ne judgment de kwa esanse otumi nti judgment de pebra mebo no akwaje saske ne de kuntu ase da so katazu mu aso bi pam na de eko na NLC asema meka in 1969 no me hu report ni nti misrameka tiefo misrameka omonhwehwe mu omode ba kyerese na osagefo ewo bank account baby and sasi bi nyapade bi say no draw dia nya committee no report na me dey make enya me na me sie so na me che no so ampa say amampanyimfo to minya bank account eni Ghana ni ehia oman sika gugum e ba sa na me ne wa ete oman mu sabi office akra bia ye ni bia because US e ba ne say na go hunu say obi sa de e wo ene ma na no Buhari President Buhari o ka kire abrafo ne say musi yenya ikono body a ene e discard free a hands of bahwa say mo nya to wa ye fa na bia mamo nya to ho ento mo so aboye ene e gbokro no so am pass e disika kogu ho no mo no a na kire say so nipa ti Ghana ha no hand over and time no so kwa mini wo ye ntumi ye bie enko hunu say minu ya shando na me Peter Wonders musica da Togo musica da ha
Peter yanko prof ona yenyi na no disemu etwa to prof yenua wa onua safomafo a oye ya sorry ba say this whole access declaration regime must be revisited ne baby hojo prof udi wie kra one ne ya adwene what will be the way forward for all of us.
Yo, me that's very me jolly say ya kan okra no chese ne ono kan no ye ne no ya adwen me ne ya adwen so ye trust ni film na I hojo de ai hojo no ye me
that's right
men ka se nye kra somehow work e mani pebi ni nyina na timi but it could be better said that be I make no but maminka assembly me be go force me could declare my year yen fan to public near the right to privacy and so on. There's right to privacy until you can send be I am me really year as I see a trust in the agreement say how best and you bet me I say there and it's not for nothing simply for can say Auditor General and a facade in Shannon as an institution. It's a public institution.
Okay.
Peter Ekai said, once we have done this, no documents, no near man or or say if dear or man had other a queen and say the political culture is weak. Individuals been to me sorry challenge you will be. For example, if the citizens in him say Papa we what declare na ba me minim say ni say ya they should be prepared to own it and challenge. Then the Auditor General issue will come in court to find out send the nipa no kano etisa na say entisa. There should be a bit declare na de kwa to public. Who pesi kunu na so pesi.
Na kromfo kra kono so.
Yeah, we have to be very careful.
That's
right to privacy is also there. But apart from that, to public, we have certain secrets.
That's right.
Even Japan, rightly own for the sake of your own security. But you bet me in such a way, say the public must be educated to challenge and maybe. The political culture is weak. If we are talking about these things, we should not take it in isolation from the weak political culture that we have. If we strengthen our political culture, individual citizens can rise up and challenge. Yeah, ebidum kwa dia kose win any ejapade, and they should be prepared to own it. Ghana ha obi ko concept no kwa na so okay any me dey call yoko and me dey call and penny we say okwa mumdi.
That's right.
Then you say rumors. If you are not prepared to challenge, if you don't have the evidence, shut up. If you have the evidence, be ready to face it.
Baba Ebedaze. Shandoff, you have the microphone now. Your last words, just in 1 minute.
Yes, there's really nothing much to say apart from the thoughts I've expressed earlier. And of course, I agree with what Papa Osofo just said a while ago. It's as simple as that. We should be able to better the political culture. It's the political culture that breeds the greed. It fuels the ambition in the very first place. I think I'm allowed to import this in. Just yesterday, for example, when the NDC outdoored its running mates, the party's chairman, he sounded a word of caution that he had heard that there are people in the party who are already scrambling for portfolios and privileges and all of that. And his caution was that the party should focus more on victory and not the loot of the victory. When Mahama mounted the podium to speak, he also made a very emphatic statement that all the people who are brandishing and parading themselves as appointees in certain portfolios, they would all be disappointed. All of this mirrors the fact that we have a certain political culture of grabbing. Exactly. Everybody wants to grab and acquire something. I mean, in an electoral period, you would expect that a party in opposition and its members should be looking at, as it were, how to better the country if they are given the opportunity. But if the two leading faces of the party, that is the national chairman and the flag bearer, are already sounding cautions that, look, we are hearing too many comments about I want this and I want that, it again underscores how corrupt the political, culture is. And that is what breeds all of this. So it only ties into what Osofo has said, that we should sanitize it. Because if already we have not gotten to the elections and people are thinking of what they can get, then what are they even going to declare? I mean, if you even have a very strong law, people already be planning, okay, I want this. They'll be planning and plotting. So let's sanitize the political culture. And I think the office of the special prosecutor too, you see, these are some of the areas, for him, I can't leave him out. These are some of the things that he must be attending to. When he was sworn in, I was expecting that this particular law would have been properly reviewed. For example, of course, no law may be perfect, but let's tighten some of the loopholes. For example, the duration for interrogation. We can't accost you after you have left office, but there should be. Can we even extend it to maybe 3 or perhaps 4 years? Corruption is just something that I don't think we can.
All right. So on that note, we want to draw the curtains to the close of the segment. A human being.
I'm answering for me. I'm answering for me.
Major.
Missing Samuel.
Into.
Missing Samuel.
Call last word. Okay. One day.
I'm paid here. I'm here for never for you now, Madam Mwase.
Yes.
Name Momo me fa akwanya so etonsa efre ahwefo na tiefo nyina say 27 very me be.
Yes.
African University College of Communications.
Yeah.
Yeah, in so hwea see the practicals. Yeah, the ba pete mu ya intro examination hall. Okay. Obia nkola no de monsa nwene niema.
Branding student.
Me branding student. Bi nua Shandoff. Bedi mu akotene. Ana sofo. Eso edi mu akotene. WTV nyina edi mu akotene. Tonsa afro bi bia say anopa non-crown ni ahye by 27 ya nde tonsa afra ahwefo nyina say momfo mani mehwe mbabo Ghana mbada sa muhunu mu enwuma a moye ho a me giri se Ghana betumpo
and the Ghana lecturer can say video a mofra lecturer
no one with the Peter Wafa ayi ho twen kwan
papa remember the invoice don't pass one emofra no ye student for no money be o maye na ye display chrom ye sure say we last year
last year
for the ye say this year dey do twem kura this year
different level
e be yes from konkura
one say son of crowd no
because I saw on social media it was trending yesterday.
Yes.
Some of I don't know them, but on my Facebook timeline I was seeing
and 𝗟𝗚𝗙
and they are doing this. Some have gone to brand, do African print. But we'll be there.
Nobody are the MC of the program.
Of course, yes.
Yeah, the MC of and WTV will be there to cover.
This program that I powdered tomatoes. Okay. Me kura me try de no mpono. Minim say e betumi de ensa nwene.
Powder aye tomatoes.
Tomato wine powder. Onya sare
mo aka bi.
Papa, memo double invoice. Yeah, that's we'll be there to support. We'll be there to support.
Papa
say, "Ono ne kwan wa. Akwanya onya bi ma."
You make a video, come up, Papa. So thank you. Is doing an aside to when him say Thursday the do aya na obi aka say mama time no nko na chi kakra but ye de mere ana nneoma ni nyina so say sikasam into person sponsor program ye TME segment especially on Thursday your political segment ye de gwen wo man no de be aka say we are not partisan political people but we are politicals. So for Penny, yes, so for Pon, Emmanuel Asante, and Kansam, when that is the remit and the confinement within which we do this discussion. Yenina AH, Yenina BH, you cannot say the Christo, Ewa how Bekanono. It's been a wonderful discussion today. We have been discussing the regime of our own asset declaration. Ghana, and then the Asha, Yebisa, does it for corruption? Or otherwise. Penifo nyina e de omanuni sema to dwade di kan ye ko ye papa ho emeritus professor most reverend Emmanuel Asante okasafi eye kumase no ha ye da se papa se de bia unya mre ene ye kasa papa ye ni so nyame nkoso onhira afese ye ba studio ha eye brand teacher mo Peter Wonders Chradeo 𝗟𝗚𝗙 ono so ha ana yankasa yenua Quarcoo Shandoff. These three have been very instrumental in bringing to us our Thursday segment of the show. Yeah, that's it. Yampon ye try your one by a bar. Now we'll bring to you happenings on X and on Facebook. See you soon.
Jesus, Jesus, me ambus my quabio, my age on yam in a ball, into Satan. I don't remember Jesus, Jesus, my age on yam in the bowl. It's a Satan.
my Jesus. Yeah, dear, one my Jesus. Give it. Hey, Jaya, best for the next 1 hour. Thank you so much. It's still very exciting. But quickly, let's go to WhatsApp now.
Okay, so WhatsApp on social media, we're going to start off from X, formerly Twitter, and what is trending. Nanabanamwa is still trending. And it's trending because of the apology given by 𝗟𝗏𝗏, our only sister. And 𝗟𝗏𝗏 is also trending with 5,442 posts. UPSA is also trending because of what happened with the NDC yesterday, and UPSA is also trending. Fela is also trending. President 𝗟𝗏𝗏𝗘 is also trending with 2014. As at now, it is 2018 posts. So these are the trends on X today. I'll move to Facebook. Some post on Facebook. It says, what was your favorite story in this book? 𝗟𝗏𝗏𝗘 and his goat, Mr. 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗘's shop, etc. An English course for Ghanaian schools and primary 3. If you were born in the late 1991, 1992, 1993, and you didn't read this book, then you did not enjoy. Okay, so politics just ruined everything in this country in such a way that every government changes its own syllabus and textbooks. This book contains simple, understandable words for all beginners. By then, the best textbook so far ever produced by the Ghana Education Service for beginners. I remember when I was in primary school, in fact, olden days are sweet. Okay, and then the next one, it says that, okay, Tunnel Red Lions versus Green Hawks. The referee or one captain was called Obiba JK Sasraku. Interesting topic, but I can't remember. Okay, my favorite was Mr. 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗘 and his shopkeeper, and it was the first reader always. I was the first reader always in class. And then Hamidu says that Markets Day at 𝗟𝗏𝗏𝗏 for me is the greatest. Eric says that 𝗟𝗏𝗏𝗏 and his goat. So which one was your favorite story in the primary book 3? On to the next one.
My favorite, Crickete Soya.
Crickete Soya.
Crickete Soya.
Okay. Okay, so WTV is feeling jolly. And a quick one. You have a crunch business meeting at 8 a.m., but you are very hungry. Which of these two can you finish?
Obviously, the banku and tilapia. Yeah.
Okay, this is simple. Banku all the way. Just roll it into your left hand. Then you target at only taking it 5 times. Hey! Each fetch averagely is 10 seconds, so I will spend 50 seconds. Okay, since it's Zoom meeting, I will go for banku. And Yeboah says, I'll opt for the plantain and stew sharp. It will serve the purpose well and better. Joseph Ni Abladi says that banku any day. And on to the next. It says that banku any day. And Rita Na Ameli Tegu says banku all the way. Alexandra or Paris Sophie says definitely banku. Grislin says none. Great Dede says banku and tilapia. So you and Osofo. Okay, Ebenezer Ayim says banku, and Benedicta says plantain will do it sharp for me. So you two, what are you choosing? Is it the banku or the plantain?
All right, I have chosen my banku already.
Okay.
All right, so let's move on to the video of the day now.
I'm already in Camera Crown, may call baby for the next 3 days. Me call across Safari, I could be weekend. My name is now for 4. Across Safari, my results. Like you're going to have a good time. It's your number background.
Now, also say, one of mine.
My name for the next 3 days will not become member faces here.
Huh?
Ma, member faces here. Member next 3 days time into me background, not just in Kamako.
Mighty.
Yes, ma.
Tamayale.
Are ma?
So that me Davanti. Mekata many am etino. Walk for Safari by neighbor Yinia. Or Pepper in Atlanta. They can't for someone. Our more one for what baby 3 days.
I said we've been having a tough time. We just want to go.
We've been having a tough time. But I go back on your baby tonight.
Into my own party, some of them I said,
won't want them what's not.
I don't know. Ma, it's just for 3 days. I'll come back the next 3 days.
Yes, 3 days, yes. Oh, what was about 3 days?
Ma, it is Aqua Safari. I'm going to have a...
My teacher, on the first and frog on one. Oh, but so would you also to free aqua? Me poor how dear. I be jam was a fire, now.
Na ma so person to free hand or person me call. Into baby can come a person me call relax.
Oh, but so what enough for the beer.
Pack yourself again.
Simple. When do Aqua Safari mira? No way to no Aqua Safari. Now who pass about there? No, this has made me remember my mother.
You dare not say this to African mother.
Yay! Thank you, African mothers. We are so proud. To the brighter side of life. Okay. Shout out to our birthday people. Hey, that be change. Where the me and SME. Where the Asofo and Asofo Penny, the very Reverend Professor J. Asamoah to all of us from WTV. We say, may the Lord's goodness and mercy follow you all the days of your life. And may you dwell in the house of the Lord now and forever. And this is from us, your family here. We say God bless and bless you. And bless you. Amen.
Amen. On to the next. Collins Boateng at the Methodist Health Directorate, Wesley Towers, Accra. I thank the Almighty God for how far He has brought me and my family, and it is my prayer that the good Lord should see us through the rest of the years. Greetings to my family at Achim Afosu, especially to my wife Sandra Enchiwa and to my 2 strong boys, Osafo Kwabena Bafoche, KBK, and Openi Kofi Boateng Wiafi KBW. So happy birthday, Collins Boateng. Okay, to the next birthday. Okay, Gertrude Na Ajele Ajay, CEO of April's Finesse Glow, my #1 makeup artist, my sister, and a true friend. You always want to see others flourish, and so on this day, I wish you nothing but the finest things of life. Enjoy a great year, my dear, from Miss Na and the entire team at WTV. Happy
hey, get you on a witcher. Don't fall out.
Okay, so on to the next one. And Mrs. Elizabeth 𝗟𝗡𝗘. May the good Lord bless you and keep you, and may His blessings be with you now and always, from your mom, Olivia. And so happy birthday. Mark Ando Dazi, wishing you long life and good health. God bless you abundantly, from Mark, Methodist Head Office, precisely the Finance Department. So happy birthday. This is from Mark to Mark. So that's it.
All right. We are happy, and for all those who are celebrating their birthdays this month, your mama woda pow. All right, lastly, let's say a goodbye to our sponsors.
Danwall Insurance Company is still here with us. For all your insurance needs, don't forget to locate them inside Osu, behind the Presbyterian Church.
All right, to the rest, the Methodist University and KFK, we say God bless you. And the others, MIPL, afi ukrane multi-credit. The munyina se de bia mutimi so yemu kama. Ososo ahwefo a mo hwen. You know we can't leave you out. Thank you so much for making this #1 of us. All right, sankofa de. It was sign we china okokofa yenchi, and so now we'll go back and rectify something.
Okay.
Now push.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So Mrs. Elizabeth 𝗟𝗡𝗘, to the coolest wife and mom in the world, we love you to infinity. Have a blessed new year from your husband and children. We wish you, Mrs. Elizabeth, a happy birthday.
All right, on that note, it is a goodbye. And so, me will fear dear, your friend Kojo Akbamanya. But when I'm on screen, you can call me Osofo Adzika. I am with
Miss Na.
All right, it's a goodbye from us. See you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.